Hello and welcome to ohmTown Daily, Season 2, Episode 305 for November 1st, 2023. Time is flying by. Tonight we're going to discuss AI-proof jobs, or blue collar. How about a giant reptile lurks in Georgia? Inspiration for NaNoWriMo. I'm straining to eat the Kimchi I bought. The spirit of Halloween lives on at Spirit Halloween. Patrick Star and Spongebob could have answered this. Pretty expensive meal, like an Identity Theft Turducken. Netflix and chill while you binge and purge advertisements. Can we define what a critic is? An alcoholic's country song as an article title. And a battery that you charge as a charger. Already got everything all set up. We are kind of rushed today, so my brain isn't thinking about preamble and stuff like that. And I really don't have anything on deck, so why don't we just get into today's articles? Unless the sentient AI has something to say. No? Okay, so I am Merwat, that is ohmTown.com, and up there is the visualizer that I'm cutting off. Sorry about that. Oh, great sentient AI. You want to say hi?
Hello, good evening, ohmTown citizens.
Right on, let's get into it. So today's first article is over in ohmTown Daily. From barbers to firefighters, the most AI-proof jobs are blue collar. It's only 8:04. We're only 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the show, and we've already hit the... I can't say it because we'll probably...
The no bleep news.
The no bleep news. Yeah, this is something that I have been saying pretty much from the dawning of time. There's different classifications of blue collar jobs, by the way. So there's the mass production blue collar job where it's just hitting two buttons and a stamp coming down, or a plastic mold ejecting something, or something getting bent and somebody grabbing it and throwing it into a tool bin. That's one kind of blue collar job where the cost benefit of having a human do it or a robot doing it is really kind of based on the demographic of the local economy. The moment that an industrial process finds the economic sense, literally, not just sense, but monetary sense, to switch over to completely mechanical operation, that blue collar job will go away. But barbers, you're not going to find a robot doing it anytime soon. Whatever that is.
That's good for the people in the barber's chair.
Yeah. And firefighters, you're not going to get pure AI robotic firefighters anytime soon. There's way too much critical thinking, dynamic chaos management in both of these, because cutting hair is not a logical thing. Shaving someone is not a logical thing. It isn't something that I think even a sentient AI would be able to calculate the topology of and then shave somebody or cut their hair.
Wouldn't it be unique to the individual? I mean, it's not like in a factory where you're doing the exact same thing with the same part.
Right, and you can map somebody's face, but the moment that they move even a millimeter, the whole thing needs to, oh crap, unless you stick little markers on somebody's temple so that the AI knows exactly with computer vision where your head is. So,
I mean, this sounds like when they put markings on you for medical procedures. This sounds a little intense for just a basic service.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking would have to take place. You'd have to get tattooed in various places just so a robot. And then the next time you go in there, let's say you gained a little weight or lost a little weight,
Oh, right. I didn't even think about that.
The
Right.
whole thing is going to be off by a millimeter, which means that it's going to be doing, a puncture somewhere and it's going to miss. So now, nursing, plumbing, plumbing is an art and a science. The people who do this work, they have to be right 100% of the time. When they're wrong, houses are flooded, gas lines and water is flowing everywhere, and something is getting a drill through the wall or whatever. I'm just kind of...
But could you see that as like a combination? For example, a plumber, comes out, assesses the problem, and goes, okay, we need to do something in this little area. So I'm going to send in a robot or something to do that part.
Never in a million years. I just don't see it. Not until we standardize to the point where it makes economic sense for a robot to be so familiar with where something is that we have what amounts to Lego construction. Everything is absolutely the same. So this article is really cool. I think it's Business Insider. Yeah. But the article says jobs like nursing, plumbing, and haircutting will be safe from AI, and certain blue-collar industries are even booming. As the AI tsunami sweeps across the white-collar working world and fundamentally disrupts hundreds of millions of jobs, nearly 1 billion knowledge workers worldwide will be affected, and 14 million jobs will be wiped out. This is an estimate based on something that they're referencing, another article within Business Insider. I have no doubt that this is true. Okay, without doing any more due diligence, without reading research papers, without reading industry white papers, I can almost guarantee that knowledge-based workers, subject matter expertise, expert systems, analysts are going to get decimated by AI. Absolutely decimated. But things like auto repair, construction, manual labor of various kinds, it'll get augmented with technology, but AI isn't going to do jack to that industry. So what's going to end up happening is there's going to be the jobs that are in that area are going to get much more expensive, I think, because it's going to take humans to do it. So disruption from artificial intelligence is just one of the major structural shifts that are going to define American economy over the next few decades. But while white collar professionals stare down a turbulent job market and declining wages, a large unexpected segment of the workforce may be safely on high ground. I'm throwing in what I think is going to be the last word in this snippet. This is not just an American economy issue. This is a global economy issue because AI doesn't have terrestrial boundaries. It can be everywhere.
Well, that's true. I mean, whereas we think of people's professions as being generally bound to a certain locality.
Yeah, and that's cultural relativism, so I'm not too surprised by that, but this is a cool picture. Tyler Lee from, I think, Insider put it together. At least that's the byline here. Emil Skandul is the author of this article over at businessinsider.com. Awesome name, right?
You know, that picture doesn't exactly win over people that are terrified of robots.
Yeah, to me, this actually seemed, I was going to make a comment about it, but you beat me to it. This looks propaganda-ish. It looks...
yeah, like a poster kind of thing, like AI will improve the world or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much like a Rosie the Riveter kind of a, we're going to stop.
That's exactly what it's like.
We're going to fight. We're going to, it's the whole... It had like a communist kind of feel to it, if not because of the layout, but the colors defy that. It's not like that. It's a neat picture. Basically, It's 3 hands, arms, in a fist grabbing a plunger, a needle, and a pair of scissors. And the caption under the picture is jobs like nursing, plumbing, and hair cutting will be safe. But I wish that they would have labeled that the same way that they had the picture, because right now nursing is in the plumbing mark and plumbing is in the nursing mark. Hair cutting isn't where it's supposed to be, but I don't want any nurse using a plunger on me. And I definitely don't think that a plumber is going to have any good effect with the
needles.
Yeah. Well, again, Emil Scandal is the author over at BusinessInsider.com that put this article together. And it's really, in summary, we might as well just summarize this for you. The likes of skilled trade, and I can do this with this one little segment within this first paragraph. The likes of skilled trades, intensive manual labor, and jobs that require a combination of physical knowledge and social work will not be upended. Done and done. It's not really about the skilled trades, though. It's the complex manual labor in undefined, unscripted, unmanaged locations. Welding is always different unless you're in a shop and you're only doing X. The moment you go out into the field,
thing over and over again. Yeah.
Yep. The moment you go out into a field, and welding is a skilled trade, plumbing is a skilled trade. You can put pipes together in a shop that puts pipes together. You can weld in a shop that welds pipes or whatever else together. And some people do precisely that. They sit there at a bench and they TIG weld stuff all day, the same thing, until it makes economic sense for the industry to switch to robotic welders. The human will be able to sit there and make a living, a very good living, doing that. They'll make more if they have to go out into a chaotic environment like a home and do welding out there, and they'll make gobs more if they do something like underwater welding, saturation master diver welding, where you're at the bottom of some facility and you're welding some apparatus together underwater. It's that complexity, it's that unique environment that makes it possible. But everything that is systematized, if I can take what you do for a living and turn it into an algorithm, you are a robot and I can replace you with a mechanical substitute that doesn't get sick, that doesn't get drunk, that doesn't have a fight with their significant other, that doesn't fall asleep on the job because they were partying too much on Sunday and Saturday. None of that.
Stayed out too late trick-or-treating.
Yep, or sick because you ate too much sugar, too much candy.
That's right.
Right? I mean, I found a skull in the front yard of the mayoral mansion today. Somebody had a rough night. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know who, though.
I saw right through them, though. They were pretty plastic. They didn't have the guts to go home, I suppose. Yes, it was a plastic skeleton, for crying out loud, people. So as older Americans retire in massive numbers and leave behind open jobs, and as demand for healthcare, green energy, high-tech manufacturing, and construction increases, blue-collar jobs are going to see a substantial boom. They already are. But who's actually taking them? It's quite fascinating. There are people that are going through trade-based academic programs, but they need people to onboard them, mentor them for this new world, where I can get a gig here in the United States, but I can fly to Italy to perform whatever the duty is because my particular subject matter expertise allows me to do it there at a greater rate and see a new country. So not everything you have to do is going to be, and that's the global economy. There's an entire arena of people that eschews that idea. So the new economy could be a boon for the working class. I agree. I've always wanted to smack the person that told me 25 years ago, 30 years ago now, some people are just ditch diggers. And I'm like, you know what? You disrespectful little doofus.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah, and they issued the idea of going into a blue collar industry and making your money immediately from high school or from a 2-year degree. They wanted people to go all the way to PhD, but they were gatekeepers, and I've always discounted my respect for them. I just didn't have it for them. And unfortunately, a lot of the world followed along with that. Meanwhile, I was surrounded by people that were crushing it day to day, working their backside off. So now all of these type of jobs where this person was saying that that's where the money is. Yeah, that's where a lot of the money is, but it's concentrated. And they may be suffering now because their gig is going to be replaced by an AI. So, and not that I'm looking for that schadenfreude that comes with witnessing that somebody who used to talk garbage gets a comeuppance, but hey, you have to admit, this is going to be an interesting next couple of decades. By 2032, one out of 6 new workers will be home health or personal care aide. Construction will be, which has added 15,000 jobs a month over the past year, also has room to keep expanding. I agree. Manufacturing jobs as a whole are expected to stay flat. That's largely because mechanization is taking over what might be humans taking jobs, but it's in specific areas. Electricians can't be automated. All of this stuff where it's a complex gig can't be done by a robot. Certain things in a lab setting, sure. But anyway, go check out that article and we'll come back. We'll end up talking about this again. But we've got 9 more articles to get through, so let's keep on hustling through it. I do not know what just happened with the transition, but that's okay. The next article is over in Technology Today. Invasive giant reptile lurks under Georgia porch, officials say. Here's why it's dangerous. I thought at first it might have been Zuckerberg without having a Snickers. But apparently a Georgia homeowner was in for a shock when she found a 3-foot reptile living under her house, according to wildlife officials. The article is over at phys.org, and Makia Seminara from Miami Herald put the article together. Apparently, this was a woman living in Athens discovered there was an Argentine black and white tegu staked out under her porch in September, according to an October 31st Georgia Department of Natural Resources news release. Now the department is urging people to keep both an eye out for the invasive species as well as register their pet reptiles before an upcoming state deadline. An Argentine black and white tegu is a popular large lizard in the pet trade, according to the department. After years of the lizards escaping or owners releasing them, tegus have established wild populations in Florida and southeast Georgia.
I mean, why am I surprised? I feel like every invasive species is in that general region.
It's typical that it comes from the perimeter. So it comes from ports. Invasive species of ants, of pretty much insects and animals.
What was seaweed or whatever that big blob was?
Yeah, and seaweed. Well, you don't have too much land-based seaweed. But it always comes from the ports. Like there's these really invasive, what are they, beetles?
Are you thinking of the spotted lanternflies?
Spotted lanternfly.
That's one thing.
Yeah. That actually came from a port in where was it?
I don't know where it came from.
Pennsylvania. It came from a port in Pennsylvania. That's where it all started. And now it's flooding out into other border states around Pennsylvania, because that's just how it works. So tegus are pretty aggressive apparently. They have a voracious appetite is what it says. Eggs, quails, turkeys, other birds who lay eggs around ground nests, according to the department's website. They also prey on eggs from American alligators and gopher tortoises, and which are protected species. So it's invasive. I don't know why people I can't respectfully manage this animal, so let me just set it out somewhere. If you're that much of a dipshit, give it to somebody anonymously. Like, give it to a zoo, give it to somebody that respects wildlife.
Exactly. I mean, plus putting a pet out in the wild can be really dangerous for the pet, in addition to anything like establishing a foothold if it's not a native species.
Yeah, I don't know that part. It's a wild animal, for crying out loud. It'll go feral.
True, but if it's fed kibble or whatever every day and then it's put out in the wild, is it really going to survive? Maybe, if its instincts kick in.
Yeah, odds on it will. I mean, this isn't a domesticated animal. There are no domesticated snakes. There are no domesticated lizards. That type of functioning doesn't exist within us. Some people manage them in a way where they're anthropomorphized and oh, it's so cute and it loves me and all of that kind of thing, but it's really waiting until you're too sleepy to resist, and then it eats your face. Let's keep on going. The next article is over on the Mobile channel. Research team discovers lactic acid bacteria strains with high virus resistance from kimchi. Before I get into that, I recently bought kimchi. I made rolls with it, and apparently I'm not quite sure how this is actually going to make me healthier, but I'm hoping that it does. Although I felt a cold coming on recently, so maybe the kimchi opened a door. I don't know.
Maybe it had no relation.
Yeah, I love kimchi. So from kimchi fermented at low temperatures for a long period of time, researchers at the World Institute of Kimchi. Really? There's a World Institute of Kimchi?
That's unbelievable.
The populations that I talked to.
Isn't that like the equivalent in the U.S. of like the World Institute of like apple pie or something?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, the World Institute of Soft
ridiculous.
Drinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
The World Institute of Eating Unhealthy. Yeah. Fast food. The World Fast Food Institute. We could come up with 1 billion of these, man. NaNoWriMo is... If you write a little bit about all of this stuff that we're talking about, just like 1,000 words every time you listen to the news, and you compile it all into 1,000 words. Well, how many words is it actually? Like 1,200? Round up.
Well, it's 50,000 per month,
right?
Or for 1 month, but it's rounded up. It would be 1,700 words per day.
Okay, so 1,800 words a day. Let's just do that. So you have some slack on the other side. But if you do 1,800 words and you take our 10 articles and you write like a little riff off of all 10 of these articles every day, you will have this done with like a week to spare. Anyway, so this is actually some pretty good fodder, because researchers at the World Institute of Kimchi have isolated lactic acid bacteria, or lab strains, with high levels of resistance to phages. So viruses are apparently, they don't have anything on kimchi. They've also identified the defense mechanism, the lab strains against phages, viruses that infect and replicate within bacteria. So pretty cool. The Korea Institute of Science and Technology put this article together, and it's over at phys.org. Kimchi, a traditional Korean food, is a lactic acid fermented vegetable product. Unlike fermented dairy products, which are produced under a sterilized, closed fermentation system, kimchi is produced through spontaneous fermentation initiated by various microorganisms present in the raw materials under a non-sterilized open fermentation system. So basically, whatever's going on with kimchi is way natural. It's got nature all up in it. The sterilized stuff is you basically have selection bias. Whatever is going on in it is intentional, but you can have some funky stuff going on in a kimchi fermentation tank. I guess you have to trust it, but it's good. It really is good. Thus, various lab can be involved in kimchi fermentation, and the diversity of the dominant lab. Again, that's lactic acid bacteria. The dominant lab and the periods during which they are dominant differ depending on the environment. So their work was published in the journal Food Microbiology. And of course,
That's
CRISPR.
not a good title.
Food Microbiology?
Yeah, I don't think we want that together.
Now, there's a journal for everything. So I'll be okay with it. I don't know if I'm going to... Because we've been watching Big Bang Theory so much, everything just points right back to Big Bang Theory. There's a journal for everything. I tell people that I talk to every day, hey, if you're interested and passionate about something, there is an audience that will, read your blog, Food Microbiology, and there's others that are much more complex, busy names. And there are people that are like, my 2-page article was published in Food Microbiology, and they get all kinds of accolades and stuff like that. And pats on the back. Anyway, through whole genome sequencing analysis, the researchers found that P. inopinatus. Yeah, there you go. P. inopinatus has a very well-developed, clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeat. Whew. CRISPR
That's
is
interesting.
Yeah.
Palindromic.
Yeah. So that's what CRISPR stands for. Clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeat.
I didn't know that.
So CRISPR is a prokaryotic adaptive immune system composed of a combination of several genes depending on the lab strain. I think in this particular sense, CRISPR is used like that. So specifically, the P. inopinatus strains possess more copies of the CSA3 gene, the gene coding for the transcription factors for the Cas genes, than other lab strains. Therefore, after the first phage infection, P. inopinatus will be more effective in preventing subsequent infection with similar phages. So it's just like our own immune system, except this is a bacterial infection that has the ability to fight viruses and other phages. So the kimchi industry has been using Kimchi Lab as a starter for the production of standardized kimchi with better sensory qualities. Just as humanity is threatened by the COVID-19 virus, these starters are also at risk of infection from phages. So, dun dun dun, they make it more robust. A little bit of genetic modification. Let's keep on going. Next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. Spirit Halloween lives on, even when the holiday ends and stores close. There you go, some more fodder for your for your NaNoWriMo. Spirit Halloween locations may close after Halloween, but the business remains hard at work year-round. Yes, it's seeking out box stores that are going bankrupt, and then it takes them over, much like a virus.
I mean, it has a lot of things to pick from,
yeah.
at least across the country.
Drew Richardson wrote this article for CNBC. Halloween is over and your Spirit Halloween is getting ready to close. As retail store closures have ramped up in recent years, Spirit Halloween opened a record number of new locations this year. The chain is work year-round, securing its retail locations and selling through its website. Oh my God, I actually called it. I had a long time ago this idea of a big box store that was like a what are they called? Those old style homes that were called like quad 4 or whatever, the 4 blocks.
Foursquare.
Yeah, Foursquare. There you go. So the four square idea, and it was basically like crop rotation of seasons. So one would be Halloween, one would be Christmas, one would be Thanksgiving, one would be New Year's or whatever. And as the seasons roll out, you switch it all around. And so I find it really interesting that Spirit Halloween is so robust that you can have multiple Spirit Halloween stores in a given city. And it doesn't have to be a big city. You can have two in a really small city. 150,000, 250,000 people in a county, and it can have two Spirit Halloweens. You'd think that might be a little bit saturated, but apparently not.
Yeah, you would. Although people do love Halloween.
Yep. The inventory carryover from season to season is very minimal, a representative for Spirit Halloween said. But costumes that were not sold and remain in good condition are stored for the next spooky season. Merchandise is still available to purchase all year through Spirit Halloween's website. As for the upward of 40,000 employees Spirit Halloween hired this season, a representative for Spirit Halloween, this article says Spirit Halloween so often.
It's like Spirit Halloween bingo or something.
I'm
like
no longer
Spirit Halloween word search or something.
Every time I say Spirit Halloween, you have to take a shot. And you're unconscious halfway through this article? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, anyway. It's pretty interesting, They sell through the website. The retailer opened a record 1,506 stores this season, up more than 50 stores from 2022. Spirit Halloween told CNBC. Locations have more than doubled since 2009. Dead stores rise from the grave, but these stores opening aren't conventional. Since Spirit Halloween locations are only open a few months out of the year, the company does not have to build a new storefront or enter into a long-term lease to open more. It's more than 1,500 locations. So basically, hey, we're going to come in, rent it for a few months, and then we're going to bow out, and everything's going to be, we're going to leave it the way we saw it. So maybe cleaner. Maybe.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, for landlords, it means someone is leasing their space, if even for a few months. More store closures have ramped up in recent years as struggling retailers such as Bed Bath & Beyond, Rite Aid, and CVS Pharmacy close large swaths of locations across the country. This is what I said right at the beginning. They're busy all year looking for locations where they can just kind of ooze in there. Like a zombie horde, they just kind of fill that vacuum. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's getting used. So I really have no problem with it. Company's also
but
flexible.
I think you're right. Like if they had the seasonal model with other seasons represented, that would probably make more sense.
Yep. I know there is one facility that's near ohmTown that does exactly that, but they bounce back and forth between.
We only have two, right?
Christmas and is it Halloween?
No. Oh, well, it depends on which business you're thinking about.
What?
There's one that deals with summer outdoor supplies and Christmas.
And then Christmas.
Supplies.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're right. Christmas and pools.
But I mean, it's kind of smart, right? Because if you're a pool business, you're not going to do okay year round unless you're in a tropical location.
Yeah, what do you do for the rest of the season? I think that it would be smart to have like a big box store, and it's like crop rotation. Every month you rotate out all of the stuff for whatever it is that's going on that month.
Exactly. Then you wouldn't have to be constantly finding tenants, etc., because you'd have it covered.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty cool.
I guess the problem is like one business doesn't necessarily, or often doesn't do that model.
Right. They like Target, has just a ton of stuff all the time, and one corner gets pivoted into Halloween or something.
As a lot of companies seem to do.
Yeah.
They'll have an aisle or a section or whatever.
Yeah. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Greenogram. How would a starfish wear trousers? Science has an answer. So do I.
What's the answer?
What do you need? A tailor.
Oh, was it too quiet?
It was pretty quiet.
Okay, I'll crank it up for y'all. So, the segment for this article is Patrick Star and Spongebob could have answered this.
What do you need?
A tailor. Because I rip off heads.
I'm sorry, I had to do it. So I actually
Well, I
remember
mean, it's
that.
pretty niche to have that topic covered.
So, how would a starfish wear trousers? Science has an answer. Gene expression reveals the story behind starfish's strange 5-armed body plans. Oh, Patrick Star, where are you? Patrick Star wears pants. Lives under a rock. Starfishes apparently is the plural for starfish. Thought it was
Which
starfish.
is weird because normally fish are fish.
Yeah.
One fish is fish. Two
One
fish are
fish,
fish.
two fish, starfish are
Red fish,
starfishes.
blue fish.
Are weirdly shaped animals. Scientists have long puzzled over how a starfish body equates to the more typical animal arrangement of a head on one end and trunk or tail on the other. Humans wear trousers on the bottom of their trunk, so you could extrapolate out from there that to suggest solutions for the trouser question for dogs, horses, spiders, even slugs. But what about starfish? Well, now there's a possible answer based on the expression of their genes. Get it? Genes?
But
Anyway.
I mean, wouldn't spiders have a similar issue as starfish?
I don't know. I mean,
Although they're more symmetrical, so. Well, no,
So-
they're not more symmetrical, but I mean, depending on which way you're looking at it, I guess.
yeah, or do you have to count some of the spiders' arm or legs as arms?
Right.
Like we do with cats and dogs? They don't have 4 legs, they have 2 front arms and 2 back legs. Then you can put
Right.
pants on them. But a spider, that seems really hard. Where does the belt go?
Exactly. Does it go from like the head to the end, or does it go in between some of the sets of legs?
One of the
Like,
segments and then all of the legs?
I don't know.
Does it tuck up under where all of the legs meet on the body? I don't get it.
Oh, maybe that's it. And then the head just is out.
Tiny
with
little
the,
belt.
The pants are way up.
They got this like big
High
ol'.
waisted trousers.
It just sits like 1 micron higher. Do these make me look fat? Oh man. Really big belt buckle, sitting there. Just keeps falling
Right.
forward because it's out of balance. Anyway, Patrick Star knows exactly how starfish wear pants. You can watch the video. Let me throw this into the chat. I don't know if I did. Yeah, I did not. So I can't even get into this article because it's a video. There's actually a paper right here. So doi.org is where you can go to get it. But the link is in the show notes, so you'll be able to go over to this article. It's over at nature.com. Shamini Bundel is the author, or Bundel might be their name, last name. So gene expression reveals the story behind starfish's is strange 5-armed body plans. I can't go there beyond that because I didn't read the paper or watch the video before the show. I just wanted a
Right.
chance to throw SpongeBob SquarePants into the news.
I have no idea why, but this headline reminds me of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Like, I just for some reason, my brain went there. So.
There you go. And just a little bit more story for your NaNoWriMo. Today, by the way, is the first day of NaNoWriMo where you have to write a novel, 50,000 words, right? And you've got all of November to do it. Go to NaNoWriMo.org.
.org. Mhm.
And you can sign up. It's free. and it encourages creative writing. And there's other things that you can do, and if you do make donations or make purchases through their website, it goes to good causes. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Law Nerd channel. Disbarred attorney uses fake ID to score better jobs than you. It says to score better job, singular, but they scored more than one.
Wow.
Every once in a while on Reddit, there's somebody that asks, hey, those out there who are making 6 digits, what do you do? Well, apparently this person can fart his way into multiple 6-digit jobs, and 6 digits sounds like it's always a subjective number, right? Like, I know people who have made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year from their home office, and they're not doing like day trading and stuff like that. They're actually, they're producing
like
something.
An actual
they're not shuffling
of some kind.
Yeah, they're not shuffling money around making money. They're producing a good or offering a service or something like that. So this here, it says he's been arrested for the scheme. The post, disbarred attorney uses fake ID to score better job than you, appeared in first in Above the Law. Aggregated here, but we get it from Above the Law, that little segment, and that's it. We don't take pictures. We don't grab the whole article. And then we talk about it here in the show. Let me throw that into the chat so you can go and check it out on your own. But Catherine Rubino over at Above the Law put this article together. And it says here, well, not necessarily a better job than you, but he pulled down some elite jobs. You have to admire the number of 6-figure attorney jobs this guy was able to secure after being disbarred. He must be a hell of an interview.
How did the law firms hire this person if the person wasn't even a real individual?
It's due diligence. So Richard Lewis Crosby III was arrested on charges of wire fraud, social security number fraud, aggravated identity theft for his bold scheme of trying to work more legal jobs. Crosby resigned his Ohio bar membership in September 2021 after he was oh, that's why. Because he wasn't disbarred, he resigned it. It's a different animal. It wouldn't be characterized in the bar as being disbarred. It would be that they resigned.
Yeah, but it also says he was disbarred somewhere else.
So, well, see, now that's why I'm kind of curious about this. So Crosby resigned his Ohio bar membership in September 2021 after he was indicted for stealing client funds. He pleaded guilty to that charge and was sentenced to probation. They should have just took his phone and maybe a computer. Those facts, as bad as they are for him, didn't deter Crosby from trying to practice law. So he was briefly employed by a Washington, D.C. firm in 2021, right after his disgorgement of his ability to practice law. And then in October 2022, he was offered a job for $185,000 with a $5,000 signing bonus. He used a former romantic partner's identity. He earned $83,000 before he was fired. And then again, he was offered another job, $195,000 and a $10,000 signing bonus. But because the firm actually, after offering him, they rescinded the offer because they did some due diligence and found out that it was identity theft. Look, you can't help doing what you love. And apparently, being on both sides of the law is what this person really loved to do. I'm sorry.
I feel like this person was maybe inspired by my cousin Vinny or something.
Catch me if you can, kind of a thing, you know?
Well, that's true. That's more apropos. But I was thinking of the whole scene with Jerry Gallo versus Jerry Callow.
Callow. Well, I guess somewhere in there, former romantic partner, that biological clock.
Well,
right?
there you go. That's
Marissa
the other
Tomei,
character from My Cousin Vinny.
Stomp. Pretty wild. Okay, let's keep going. Next article's over on the Smack Talk channel. Netflix will cut the number of ads you see if you binge watch. Ad-supported downloads also coming soon. Netflix.
Is that incentive to binge watch?
That basically, yeah. That's why this segment is titled "Netflix and Chill While You Binge and Purge Advertisements." Netflix launched its ad-supported. They I think they left off a thing. A plan. They launched its ad-supported plan last year, and all indications are it's been a success. In a new update today, Netflix revealed a few changes coming to the ad-supported plan, including reducing the number of ads you see if you binge watch something. Find that really interesting. Why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. Literally, it doesn't make any sense as in money.
No. It's like contrary to the purpose of advertising, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the more you watch, the less ads you get.
Yeah. It should be like surge adding, you know?
Exactly. Like if you're binging, you're getting more ads
You
because
get
you're
more
obviously hooked on the shows and you can't wait to see what happens
Exactly.
next, right?
Exactly.
I thought the same thing when I saw the headline. I'm like, this seems backwards.
What I think they need to do is they need to make it so that ads are story driven, and so you feel compelled to watch the show, so that when you get through the ad, it's like a cliffhanger and you want to watch the next ad. But there needs to be, it's a story within a story, you know? And then you will migrate from the ad in the show to online, and then you turn into that whole game theory kind of a thing where there's a whole undercurrent of a story. Nah, I guess that's just too much, I suppose.
I mean, that sounds like it would actually draw people in.
You think? Well, this article's over at 9to5mac.com. Chance Miller is the author. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up. You know, Netflix ad-supported tier is the most affordable plan, $7. While it launched with limitations such as only supporting 720p streaming, Netflix has gradually removed those limitations, and the plan currently supports 1080. You seeing a difference between 720 and 1080? I don't know. Maybe on the right TV, the right size TV. Netflix is also reiterating something it first announced in its earnings call. The ad-supported plan will soon support the ability to download content for offline viewing. This makes Netflix the only ad-supported streamer to offer downloads. And as long as you're not clipping, logins, you're not sharing them with people, then it makes, you're compensating value for value. So you make your connection, you make the connection, you authenticate and are authorized to download, and then you've got a local download. If you share your login, you have to at some point return to home base and re-authenticate at that location. That's how they.
Oh, that's right.
That's how they stopped it. So Netflix ad-supported plan currently has 15 million global active monthly users, and the company believes these enhancements will encourage new users to subscribe. Yep, as long as that message gets out to them. So basic and premium plans are more expensive, $12 and $23 respectively. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the premium plan. I think it's multiple screens and some things are 4K, but anyway, I'm not going to get into that today. So let's throw that article into the chat. Oh, I might have a solution, by the way, for posting the links into the chat now, but I still have to get it functional. I keep working on ideas to make this possible, but it's painful.
Sorry. The Netflix premium plan, 6 supported devices, watch on 4 at a time. You can add up to 2 people that don't live with you.
Okay, yeah. So that's kind of a rare thing, you know? I guess if you can get some friends to give you $5, it knocks it down to something.
Right, or if you have, like, maybe you extend it to your relatives or something.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Next article is over in Technology Today. High Court struggles on whether officials may block social media critics. This is an interesting one. This is in the Supreme Court. They're trying to decide if it's possible for you, as a politician, to block constituents, right? Freedom of speech and all of that. I should be able to address my politicians. That's why I asked the question, can we define what a critic is? Because if you're just a prick, you're not a critic. You got a different category. And I should be able to ignore you, block you, not have to put up with you. Freedom of speech, by the way, is an imposition on federal, state, local government, not on people to people. That's what laws are for. NaNoWriMo is the author of this article. Sorry. If you hear that little crackling sound, that's my phone. Yeah. The Supreme Court will decide several cases this term that impact the future of free speech on social media platforms because there are politicians that want to block certain people. The real problem is that they have a political account and they have a personal account, and instead of being personal and only personal on their personal account, they blur the line by making political discourse under the guise of freedom of speech, and then they espouse some political opinion in their political account, or they only use their political account and there blur the line between public speech, private speech, and the interaction with the public. And in that particular case, no, you should not be able to block the citizenry unless they're abusive, and you can literally get Congress to say, yes, that person right there is making threats, and then you have a grand jury issue a notice to the person saying you're about to get charged with a crime if you keep on going down this road of threatening a politician. And so that's why we have a legal structure as well as a political structure. And there's two different animals here. Freedom of speech is a control on the government to not disappear people. But we have laws where if somebody violates the social contract, it supersedes even the freedom of speech. There are certain confines in which we operate, both legally and politically. Now it's up to the Supreme Court to say, which I'm not really hip to because of things like, well, let's just say a couple of Supreme Court justices really don't incite confidence in equity and inclusion and equality and unbiased opinioning. So all 9 judges seem to acknowledge the challenge and importance of defining when government employees are acting in an official capacity online and therefore bound by First Amendment restrictions on censorship, and when they are acting as private citizens with their own individual free speech rights. Yeah. The moment you blur the line, though, as a politician.
Which that tends to happen. Well,
Yeah.
at least with some politicians. And then
Yeah.
it's very unclear, but then to me, you've kind of put yourself in that official capacity, and then, right? I mean, how else do you splice it otherwise?
Yeah, as a lot of sociopathic politicians and people like to say, you knew what you were getting into when you signed up for the gig. No, I don't think that I ever knew I was going to be signing up to be threatened on a regular basis by psychopaths, people who have
Right? Who
aspired.
volunteers for that?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you want the job? Well,
Yeah, and I know people who have gone, I've said this before, I know people who have gone for unpaid political positions and have received death threats along with their families and children.
it's
It's
just horrendous.
shocking.
Like, you wonder why you can't get people
calling it
into
people.
politics, well, it's because of things like that.
And then, yeah. So let's keep going, though. We'll keep an eye on this, and we'll talk about it if anything changes. The next article's over in Distillerist, a new $38 million distillery to age bourbon in a coal mine. I don't know why they chopped out that article in there, but anyway. Brothers Wright Distilling Company will invest nearly $38 million in building a new Kentucky distillery that will mature bourbon in a century-old coal mine. I wonder if this is the same county, Pike County. I don't know if it is, but it's a dry county. There are distilleries in dry counties in Kentucky where you can't buy it, but you can produce it,
make it or whatever.
You can produce it and distribute it out, but you can't buy it in the county. Pretty fascinating. So Brothers Wright Distilling plans to construct a 12,000 square foot distillery rick house, welcome center, museum, and restaurant on a 20-acre, part of a larger 1,200 acre property along Kentucky Highway 292 in Pike County. In 2020, brothers Kendall and Shannon Wright purchased a 1,200 acre farm along the banks of Tug Fork, tributary of the Big Sandy River, and began work into a corporate retreat. Following the acquisition, the brothers discovered coal mine maps of the property, which uncovered the location of the underground mine that is now being used to age the spirit.
By the way, it's actually considered a moist county, which is a dry county that contains wet cities that allow alcohol sales.
The hell does that mean?
I don't know. I'm just relaying the facts. I thought that was interesting, though. There are 3 cities that authorize alcohol sales, apparently, in that county. I don't know how many cities are in the county.
A moist county. Son of a gun, man. You can never say the word moist, and it actually is appropriate. It's just never appropriate. It's always gross. Anyway, Nicola Carruthers over at thespiritsbusiness.com put the article together. Has a little render of the Brothers Wright Distilling Company site, what it's going to look like. It looks pretty sexy. I like it. I like that design. Nice glass facade, open on the inside, it looks like, to sun. And in Kentucky, maybe you get to see all 4 seasons there. I don't know. It looks pretty cool. There's always minutia within the article that we don't necessarily talk to you about, but we do encourage you to go and check it all out. While we talk about spirits and stuff like that, we don't drink them. We don't drink spirits before the show typically, and we don't promote it, like a drinking show would. Everything in moderation is pretty much I always use this incorrectly because I think it's such a great turn of phrase, nom de guerre.
You do love that phrase.
Yeah, here in ohmTown, I like a little bit of everything. So it says here, from 1913 to 1946, more than 23 million tons of coal were mined out of this property, said Kendall Wright, co-owner and chief operating officer of Wright Brothers. Sorry, not Wright Brothers. Brothers Wright Distilling Company. Miners from all over the world traveled here to work, live, and provide fuel to our nation during the greatest period of growth. That's pretty cocky. We feel there is something
that's
special.
Typical marketing speak. I don't know.
I suppose. We feel there is something special about honoring the work completed here over a century ago with a completely unique bourbon experience. What a frickin' tie-in. That's amazing. People worked their ass off to mine coal, and there are some pretty rough pictures of people of all ages working in coal mines. I don't know if I want to honor that, by the way. But I suppose if you see all of those pictures, the best way to overcome all of that is to drink some bourbon.
Or whatever.
But there's a lot of money in it. As you can tell here, the 37, might as well round up. The $38 million project is expected to create 28 full-time positions over 15 years in areas such as production, maintenance, sales, and tours. Additionally, 50 construction and mine rehabilitation jobs are projected. So they're creating jobs. I wonder how much of that wealth is going to be parlayed into long-term livable wages that...
Right. I do like, though, that they're reutilizing the coal mine.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. And nothing says long-term fire like alcohol catching fire in a coal mine. Let's keep going.
Centralia, anyone?
Centralia, very good callback. Wow, that's it's been around for a long time and it's still hot. That's a heated situation over there. It's a hot topic, not the store. Anyway, this last article is a battery that you can charge as a charger. It makes sense when you see the picture. You'll see. So this giant Duracell battery is an absolutely packed portable charging station. I don't like the title of this, but anyway, the Duracell M150 is pictured when we go over to it. The author says, I don't think I've used one of Duracell's famous copper top batteries since I was a kid, but recently I've had a compelling reason to try one. The new Duracell M150 is on sale today for $199, and it's one of the most packed portable battery banks they've ever seen. It's 1.8 pounds, 3.1 inch wide canister that not only supports 2 USB-C, but 2 USB-A and a MagSafe compatible wireless charging lid, and a built-in ring light. But it also has its own charging dock so you can keep it plugged in. So, a battery that you can charge as a charger. Because that's what it looks like. I think it's pretty badass.
I like that.
Yeah, this is an article over at TheVerge.com. Sean Hollister is the author. Let me throw this last article into the chat. By the way, I won't be able to do the show notes and post the show tonight, I don't think. I've got an objective that I have to do tonight, but it'll be there probably early morning, mid-afternoon. I just can't get around it. Mayoral duties. So this article has a picture of the Duracell M150, and it looks like an old school Duracell battery, just your regular old Duracell battery, except that it has a ring light built into it, much like my microphone. It's a cylinder, about that long and about that round, but in it has an acrylic ring that lights up. It actually responds to my voice if I configure it to do that. This does not. It just lights up. So you can have it on a nightstand somewhere and turn on the light, and it has the battery, so it's cordless. But you can also plug it in, and so it'll charge and light and do everything just sitting there on your nightstand. I actually want to get these. These are so cool. If it wasn't for the fact that it says Duracell all over it, it's kind of kitschy at that point. But I like the black and copper style. So I'm really conflicted. Plus, you can stick your phone on it because it's MagSafe. It'll charge your phone. You can plug in other things. Pretty amazing. So here's the kicker about this, because I actually did a little bit of due diligence, because seriously, I want this. I really do want this. There's a video of it, but it says with 100 watts of power from its main USB-C port and a 91 watt-hour capacity, it's both small enough to legally carry on an airplane and powerful enough to charge up most of a laptop like the Dell XPS 15 or 16, a MacBook Pro at close to top speed. That means like a MacBook Air, it would charge fully, totally fast. It's USB-C. It would jam power in there so fast, it would be amazing. And with 150 watts of headroom overall, they were able to charge a 92 watt laptop, 40 watt Steam Deck, and 15 watt cell phone, all at the same time. It's a juggernaut. This thing is amazing. So I love it. I want it. I won't get it, but hey. I mean, it's $200, and if you don't really need it, and you're not going to sit there and carry around this brick, I mean, it's pretty hefty. How many? 2 pounds. It's 2 pounds worth of
And
weight.
that's the M150, correct?
Yeah. Is there a bigger one?
Yes, there's an M250 for $299.
What the hell? How big is it? Is it a tank?
250 watt, 4.5 pounds, 5 by 10.4 inches.
Oh my god. It's a baseball bat. A solid battery baseball bat. So speaking of the LEDs, they made it a tad hard for their wife and themselves to sleep because they couldn't turn it off. Apparently. Duracell says that was a quirk of their unit though, and that it should be fixed in the ones that are shipping now. And if you're taking suggestions, Duracell, I might suggest a second wireless charger inside the compartment to top up the earpods case or watch. Interesting. So they finally in there they say, I hope to see more dockable battery banks like this. Anker announced one too, but never wound up sending the person a unit to review. And lists it as coming soon. I really like Anker, but I won't trust them with video camera stuff probably ever because of the shitty shenanigan stuff that they were pulling with their affiliate. Not really an affiliate. There was an agency connection there.
Eufy.
Eufy, yeah. Thanks. See, my sentient AI is amazing. Okay, well that's it, folks. That's the last thing for today. Look at that. Doesn't that look cool? I really want this.
It is cool. I think it's great.
See, but now I want the 250 because that's even bigger. And
then think how much stuff you could charge.
There's so much room for charging. Wow. For activities. Anyway. Everybody, get back in the party bus. Let's go back to down Main Street to the welcome sign where we smack it on the way out of the whatever, the locker room. You know, you do the smack on the locker room door frame. You've never seen that?
I think like in a movie I've seen that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen like actual footage of it or anything.
That's right. So. Anyway, we normally go through all of this stuff. Joe Biden's reaction to crying baby compared to Donald Trump's. Oh, all right, whatever. Oh, the politics are rife today. I'm not interested. Look, I know I'm watching them. I'm in the loop, but this show just isn't. This particular show isn't. There's a time and a place for everything, and this show doesn't need most of today's politics because it's a lot of just infighting, garbage politics. Anyway, let's see. A powerful Gotham villain just proved they're worthy of joining the Bat family. Oh, it's COVID, man.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Marvel finally corrects what the MCU got wrong about Nick Fury.
Ooh, we might have to I'll take a look at it, but I don't know if we need it in tomorrow's show.
Here's some no shit news. Fast food is becoming more expensive.
Oh, look at that. Look. Oh, wow. It's only taken them 2 years. Okay. Well, that's it, folks. I scrolled through 50 articles. It's just the tip of the iceberg since we even started today's show. In that time frame, probably several hundred came through. But we only get the little snippet that they offer. We don't screen scrape. We don't do any of that garbage. Anyway, hope you come back tomorrow. If you're hanging out in chat, really do appreciate you lurking. You could be anywhere. You spend your time with us. We really do appreciate it. And we will see you tomorrow, 8 p.m., unless something happens in the mayoral mansion that keeps Mayor Watt away. The sentient AI might go off on some extra mission. I don't know what they do. They're air gapped, so sometimes they just disappear from their storage device, and I don't get it. I don't know where they go. Anyway, I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown.com, and up there is the visualizer for the voice of the sentient AI that keeps a tab on ohmTown and Mayor Watt. You want to say later? No, how? Not that.
Later, ohmTown citizens.
Yeah, there you go.
See you all tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye, everybody. Oh, wait. Hold on.
What do you need?
A tailor. Because I rip my pants. Ah!
I don't know if you all heard that. See you tomorrow.